Hello, I'm Skinnybob, your favorite extraterrestrial. Tonight we dive into one of the most fascinating mysteries of the ancient world. Across Britain, France, Egypt, Mesopotamia, even deep in the Americas, ancient builders raised monuments with a precision that seems impossible for so-called primitive people. And hidden inside all of these monuments is a single repeating code, a mysterious unit of measurement. 2.72 feet. It's called the Megalithic Yard, and it may be the lost key to understanding a global civilization that history insists never existed. It all began with a Scottish engineer named Alexander Thom. He wasn't hunting for treasure or myths. He was an Oxford-trained mathematician with the best survey equipment of his time. For decades he drove across Britain and Europe, measuring hundreds of stone circles, alignments, and ancient sites. What he found was shocking. The builders weren't just stacking rocks. They were using precise geometry, accurate circles, ellipses, and alignments to the solstices and lunar cycles. Again and again, his data pointed to the same exact unit of length. Not 2 feet, not 3 feet, but exactly 2.72, the Megalithic Yard. Now, why does this matter? Because Stone Age farmers weren't supposed to have any kind of standard measurement. No math, no writing, no metal tools. And yet, at Stonehenge, the Great Sarsen Circle measures exactly 120 megalithic yards around. At Avebury, the stones form giant ellipses aligned with the midsummer sunrise. The ring of Brodgar in Scotland once held 60 stones, the same number that shows up in Mesopotamian math, in the 60 minutes of an hour and the 60 seconds of a minute. Coincidence? Or proof that these cultures were all using a system far more advanced than history admits? But here's the kicker. The megalithic yard isn't just a convenient length. It seems tied to the cosmos itself. The number 2.72 is almost identical to Euler's number 2.718, a fundamental constant that appears in biology, physics, even the way plants grow and galaxies spiral. Some researchers believe the ancients weren't just measuring distance, they were measuring resonance. If you convert 0.829 meters into sound, you get a frequency close to 414 hertz, a G-sharp note. And when you stand inside Newgrange or clap at Callanish, those stones literally resonate at that frequency. These weren't just temples, they were instruments, tuned to the planet and to the human body. Let's talk ley lines. In the 1920s, Alfred Watkins noticed that ancient sites across Britain line up in long, straight paths. Skeptics laughed. But modern surveys show these alignments often coincide with magnetic anomalies, underground streams, and fault lines. In other words, the ancients might have mapped the Earth's energy grid. Place your stones where the currents are strongest, measure them with a cosmic yardstick, and you create a site that hums in resonance with the Earth. It's the same idea you see in Chinese feng shui, in Aboriginal songlines, in Native American sacred sites. Different cultures, same principle, energy flowing through the land. The megalithic yard also links directly to sacred numbers. 432, 43,200. These numbers appear in Norse myth, in Hindu chants, in the dimensions of the Great Pyramid. Multiply the pyramid's height by 43,200 and you get the polar radius of the Earth. Multiply its base by the same factor and you get Earth's equatorial circumference. Now compare the perimeters of stone circles and you find the same ratios echoing again and again. Was this an accident, or were these ancient sites deliberately encoding the size of the Earth long before modern science could measure it? Critics argue that Thom cherry-picked his data, that the megalithic yard is just an average human step, nothing more. But if that were true, why do monuments separated by thousands of miles, built by cultures with no known contact, keep hitting the same number with uncanny precision? And why do those monuments double as astronomical observatories, predicting solstices, lunar standstills, even eclipses? This isn't random chance. This is science written in stone. So where did the knowledge come from? One theory is that humans got smarter earlier than we think. Sites like Göbekli Tepe in Turkey prove that people 12,000 years ago were building massive stone temples with advanced geometry. Only a fraction has been excavated, but already it's rewriting history. Maybe the megalithic yard is just a survivor of this forgotten prehistoric science, passed down through ritual, song, and tradition until it finally faded away. Another theory is far stranger, that the knowledge came from a lost civilization. Atlantis, Lemuria, Tartaria, call it what you like. A culture that mapped the stars, measured the Earth, and encoded their science into monuments before a global catastrophe, like the Younger Dryas impact, wiped them away. Survivors spread fragments of their system across the world, and that's why the same unit shows up in Britain, Egypt, Mesopotamia, even across the Atlantic in the Americas. Different languages, different gods, same blueprint. And then, of course, there's the extraterrestrial angle. If you wanted to give a young species a universal measuring tool, what better gift than a number tied directly to the cosmos? A unit connected to Earth's size, to harmonic frequencies, to the growth patterns of life itself. Give them that yardstick, and suddenly they can build temples aligned with the heavens, calendars accurate to decades, and structures that resonate with the human body. No books, no computers, just a single number that unlocks reality. Whatever the truth, the megalithic yard remains one of the greatest enigmas of archaeology. Was it simply the stride of a farmer, or was it the cosmic ruler of a forgotten world encoded in stone so we would one day rediscover it? The answer is still hidden among the ruins. Of course, remember this is just for entertainment, allegedly, but make sure you catch the next episode because the mystery is only getting deeper.